I'm asking you, what is one thing you can put on your resume that those decision makers are not going to see from anyone else? They're going to go, oh, well, that's interesting. You just gave them a hook on which to hang an interview. That may be the one thing that helps you pop out of your pack, the one thing that breaks you out instead of blends you in. And blending in is for Cuisinart. Now, one other quick example of this is that, oh, by the way, the long tail. So Tom got the interview. He got the job. He married the astronaut scheduler. He has 2 little astronauts, all because in that initial interview, he shared who he was as a whole person. By the way, in the Tell Me About Yourself, when Tom talked about going to Boulder to work for Sierra Nevada for a couple years, he had ISA, that's interpersonal situational awareness. He wanted the decision makers to know how this added to the scope of his experience that would position him for this job. So he talked about his deliberate intention to go work in commercial space travel to add to his government space travel experience so that he had an opportunity to work not for the other side, but for the partners and experience it from that point of view. Do you see how that positions him as someone who's not just been working for the government for all these years, but someone who's actually been in a commercial partner? And then he said, and my wife, who ran LASP with satellites there in Colorado, we climbed some 14ers, etc. I'm going to ask you, what do you do when you're not working? What do you love? What lights you up? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Do you, do you run triathlons? Do you climb 14ers? Are you involved in the choir or something? Because I hope you insert that somewhere in your interview, because here's why. It can give you a commonality edge. It's not just a competitive edge, it's a commonality edge. A friend of mine came to Maui Writers Conference, and I looked over her. I always suggest you put together a one-pager for your book. It's your book business card. So it's literally and figuratively a conversation piece. So when you meet an agent and an editor and they say, tell me about your book, it's not just wah, 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 wah. It's here is a one-pager. It's the proposed cover of your book, proposed testimonials or your credentials, your contact information. So they have something to take with them, something to keep you top of mind and insight in mind instead of out of mind. So when I looked at Leslie's, I said, Leslie, I knew she wanted a deal to be represented by Patty Brightman. Patty Brightman was the top nonfiction agent at the time. And I knew Patty wasn't actually looking for new clients. She'd come to the conference. She was going to meet with people, but she had a full list. I said to Leslie, put that you ride dressage on your bio. She said, Sam, why would I do that? It has nothing to do with my book. I said, I know, but Patty rides dressage. Boom. Guess who connected in their interview? Guess who had commonality? Guess who was represented by Patty Brightman? Guess who got a book deal for her book, Why Is Everyone So Cranky? Leslie Charles. So where is your commonality edge? What do you do that fleshes you out as someone who is a professional with a list of impressive credentials and someone who, starts parties in the park in your neighborhood, someone who is involved in your local community organization, someone who is an officer in your professional. So how can they, once again, get a feel for you, the whole person? And when it's time to make the decision and everyone has similar credentials, they like who you are as a whole person. They see you as a leader that people would respect. You find out that you both play golf. You find out that you both, traveled around the world or whatever. And that could be the thing that gives you a competitive edge, is your commonality edge.